it must have been the Melbourne Film Festival about 1959, where I saw Battleship Potemkin and others, that my head was turned. And the idea that you go out with a Bolex and make a film was quite thrilling, actually, and there were a lot of these films being made in London. And so off I went to London and worked in the studios there. But I remember going to parties and people like David Baker and Tim Burstall were plotting their moves. Tim had made his film about the kids sailing down the Yarra, The Prize, won some awards. And I remember seeing that in London. There was a little preview in Soho, had films in various years of showings. Jazz Scrapbook and Jacka VC were a couple that got a showing at the Melbourne Film Festival. I made a low-budget film called Compo, which did run at the Melbourne Film Festival. Very funny, people loved it. And the total budget was $125,000. It sold to the BBC and was run all over England. But Australian TV wouldn't have a bar of it. And so what can you say, except you take your chances. I've been a judge on a couple of occasions of the short film selection process. This particular year there was a group of oldies and youngies from Monash Film Department, I think, and the youngies were really strongly feminist, and there was a film came up called My Life Without Steve, where a girl's gazing out the window at Sydney Harbour, ruminating on separation from Steve. And I thought it was great. This is an award-winning film. But they were furious and wanted it out of the film festival as a sort of symbol of male domination of the world in general, and that she should need to have a man in her life. And so there were sort of snide remarks and voting. Well, it did get in on the oldies voting it in, and it won Best Film Prize. It must have been, I don't know, late 70s, maybe early 80s. In the old days, of course, driving down to St Kilda most of the time, to the Astor, to the National and to the Palais, which were big venues. You have moments like I remember gazing down into the crowd at the Palais from the balcony, and there were sort of 300-400 people, and I thought, one of those people will be the girl of my dreams that I'll marry. And I suddenly saw this beautiful blonde. I found out later she'd been Miss Cobram in 1966 or something. Are you making a film? Is Walter making a film? Take my advice, don't.